All right. So I just finished a private session around 5 hours ago, and my student kept getting not frustrated, but I kept saying over and over and over again, basically throughout the whole class, why, right? It's probably as a poker coach, it's probably one of my most frequent terms. Why are you doing this? Why are you raising? Why are you folding? Why are you raising to this amount? Why? All right. My motto in poker is if you're not thinking, you're gambling. All right. So poker is a game of it's a thought process. You need to think things through. You need to think why you're doing things. You need to have reasons why you're doing things. And if you do have reasons why you're doing things, and they're the sound reasons, you're usually a pretty decent player, right? Most of the time, some people have reasons, but they're bad reasons, right? Or the logic or the theory behind them is flawed, and that's a whole other thing. But at least they're thinking. At least they're a thinking player. If you're just tossing chips in and folding chips in, and you have no idea why, I guarantee you, you're terrible. That's a promise. That is a promise. If you're not thinking while you're at a poker table, you suck. Maybe you've gotten lucky here or there, or maybe you have a basic understanding of some concepts, but no, you need to be thinking. It's a thought process. You need to constantly be thinking. And the way I can tell if a player is constantly thinking is I could stop them and say why. And most of the time, what do they say? They don't know. Why did you raise that? Why did you continuation bet on that flop? I don't know. I just usually continuation bet 80% of my hands. Well, that's not a good reason. That's a terrible reason. It's a really, really bad reason. Well, I want to hear something. Okay, so why do you continuation that flop? Well, I see bet this flop basically because I've been tight for the past 10 minutes, and my opponent probably puts me on a range of ace 10 plus, and this board really coordinates very well with my perceived range. And I think I'm going to bet this. I think I'm going to bet this flop because I think my opponent will fold 80% of the time, even though I have deuce 3. That's a pretty sound explanation. That was the explanation that one of my students gave me. I was like, okay, it's not bad. It's very, very good. It's a reason why. They're attaching concepts to like fold equity, and they realize that they have equity in the pot, and they're trying to determine whether or not what's the percentage of a player folding. And that's all a good thought process. C-betting 80% of the time because you just like to C-bet 80% of the time is not good. That's not the proper way of thinking, right? So there's constant thinking, and if you're not thinking, you're gambling. It's as simple as that. So one of the good ways to see if you're on track is if you don't have a reason why you're doing something and you're just doing something, you need help. Come see me, pick up a book, go to one of the online training sites. I don't care, but you need help. It's just as simple as that. It's a constant why, and the reasons behind the why, and the better you get, the reasons behind the why get longer, right? So in the beginning, when you just have a couple of good reasons why you should do this. But as you get older, as you get a better and better player, those reasons of why, they start to stack up considerably. You take into consideration table image, you take into consideration, the amount of money you want to get in on the turn on the river, you take into consideration the metagame in your pre-flop, the metagame in your image, and you take into consideration all the hands you've played previously. It gets longer and longer and longer as that as your experience grows. But just in the beginning, it should always be, always be thinking why. And I'm saying this video over and over and over again, but it's a crucial element. It's a thinking game. You need to ask yourself that question: why am I doing this? And the second you're playing poker and you're not asking yourself why, and you're just kind of throwing chips in, and you're not thinking, get up and walk away. That's how I know. I'm too mentally fatigued. I'm too tired. When you get off the poker table, you should be tired. You shouldn't be like, woohoo, let's go. No, you should when you're done with like an 8-hour session, you should feel like all I want to do is sleep or watch a movie or just relax. That's the only thing I want to do, because it's heavy. You need to be thinking. You need to be thinking. All right. So just promise me, you ask yourself why when you're playing. And those of my students know how many times I say why. But if you're not, just do that little test for me. Ask yourself why. And if you don't have a good reason, you shouldn't be playing. All right.